dito, while wala dito direkta sa Zambales na mga programa, pero yung aming sektor talagang it's really working, no, for the, kasi yung NAPSI talaga, Mayor, is more of like, ano siya, the representation of the basic sector base sa RA 8425 and also sa Magna Carta of the Poor na ano is yung ano pag-bigay ng boses ng mga yung domestic sector as a partner of the government, you know, in policy making. So it's more of influencing our policy towards making it more parang effective in ensuring na magiging yung sa effective yung poverty reduction. Of course, ano natin sa National Anti-Poverty Commission for the basics sa VDC is yung sa effective disaster risk reduction and management, the empowerment of the basic sectors and the communities as partner of the government. So kaya partner natin yung mga iba't ibang agencies, and NAPSI is also coordinating. No? So hindi lang the national level but also at the local levels. Kaya mga partnership din sa mga local government units. And so in particular for the VDC sector, so we have this policy advocacy for currently of course sa enhancing the DRRM policy, also the rights of nature, the Klima Bill, no, and others. And of course, integrating the gender aspect. Ngayon is Women's Month. It's a Women's Month, so yun, kaya yung aming yung communication namin nag-highlight din doon, no, Mayor? So I think si Miss Jen, siya yung aming sa secretariat, yung focal sa the staff of the NAPSI na nagsusupport sa basic sex sa VDC. So nag-highlight doon na we also would like to learn, no, and wish to hear also like the practice of the GU, and since it's actually part of our internal learning from the local government units as well as from the communities, para it can also help us in our policy advocacy in the reform. So actually tomorrow we will have a meeting also with the government agencies, no? So mayroong BIFAR, may DNR, and also Office of Senator Ligarda, Office of Senator Jinggoy. So may siya, kasi nga din namin yung kami sa national policy, whatever mga policies na in-initiate sa national level, at tinitingnan namin paano nga ba natin ito mapagtutulungan. So merong resolution also from those offices na kinila senator. So tinitingnan namin, and we will have also that meeting with the communities. So with that, Mayor, so siguro mga kasama namin later, may mga tanong po sa inyo, but before those tanong, baka ibibigay natin muna kay Mayor? Yes. Alright, sige, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Well, again, welcome po uli kayo sa aking town. Maganda po itong ganito kasi in a way, kaming dito sa local can also inform through you, baka sakaling may mga policies and guidelines that will help us in particular sa aking town, no? And siyempre to iron out yung mga issues, gaps, and so on sa information regarding our town. And siyempre, alam mo ang social media ngayon, so mabuti na bumababa po kayo sa grounds to see to it na tama yung mga information na nadi-deliver, and we can also present whatever we need dito sa ating bayan. Like for example, sa akin dito, medyo maraming challenges, but it's a good thing na merong ganito para we can also inform, no, kung ano man ang i-raise nyo ng question, so we can directly answer. And insofar as our progress are concerned, you can directly ask or inquire kung ano yung meron sa bayan. So, ma-pinpoint kagad natin kung ano po ang gusto niyong information sa aking bayan. For in general, yung meron din kami talaga mga programs like DIGAD, no? Maraming nakapaloob po doon, especially Women's Month ngayon. So, actually, mamayang gabi nga, meron pa contest ng Zumba for women na ginagawa po namin yearly para sa ating mga ladies at women. Tapos actually itong buwan na ito talagang concentrated sa Women's Month. Like for example, yung mga educational assistants na alam ko parents talaga, mother talaga ang namumblema So nag-extend kami ng mga assistance like sa solo parent, like this mom, no? Karamihan ng solo parent talagang nanay at babae ang cargo, no? So yan, may assistance kami binibigay that we initiated in our town on a monthly stipend or allowance na binibigay namin sa solo parent. Ang nahirapan lang sila is yung requirements, no? How to register as solo parent kasi may mga requirement po ang DSWD. So medyo doon sila nahihirapan. So ang part na LGU, we assist them sa notarial kasi ayaw na nilang gagastos, papanotary pa. Then every year you have to do it kasi nga naman kung hindi ka na solo parent the next year at meron ka nang kinakasama or what. So yun ang medyo sa kanila before. Pero since na nag-initiate kami ng allowance on a monthly basis, sabi ko, and we'll help them source or pwede sila magpanotaryo ng libre sa mga kaibigan nating abogado. So yun mga affidavit. Ang dami kasi requirement pag solo parent. So siguro dapat medyo pero yan po ang sinad na guidelines ng ating DSWD. So, marami kayong programs. So, siguro much better if you have questions na lang so that we can direct kagad kung ano ang nais nyo information sa aming bayan. Okay, so can we have another mic, RJ? Para at least
San Felipe po is primarily a agricultural town.
yes, mostly farming and fishing. So, actually hindi naman majority kasi part farming, part fishing, pero dito sa mga poblasyon, nandiyan employment, construction, and so on. So, hindi naman totally farming, totally fishing. So, divided. Rice, yes. There are some parts na corn, small areas, mainly farming na rice. Then fishing, yun ho ang sa coastal areas. Kasi alam niyo po ang aming bayan, it's about 9 kilometers ang aming coastal area. So mainly fishing. And of course, after nung medyo gumanda yung aming coastal areas, naging ideal for tourism. So unti-unting nawawala ang fishing kasi mas malaki kinikita ng mga mangingisda sa tourism. Like yung island hopping, yung mga banana boat, so rentals of kung ano-anong boat going somewhere, mas sila mas siyempre pag tourist alam nila meron kagad baon yan so mas madali sa kanila yung kita. Then during the lean season na hindi na masyado yung tourism, that's the time na nagsishift naman uli sila sa fishing. Pero ang fishing namin is more of hindi yung malalaking vessel, unlike in Masinloc na talagang malalaking they go out. So dito lang kami sa few kilometers outside the 15 municipal ward. Bibihira yung lumalabas kasi unang-unang isang problem namin dito, wala naman kami port or pier na can accommodate yung mga big vessels. Pero isa po sa programa ni Governor June Ebdanian na lagyan ng mga docking area, port area, so that matranslate yung kanilang fishing skills sa talagang fishing industry na talagang income generating. Yung lalayo ka na talaga, yung malalaking vessel and through a cooperative, yun ang plano ni Governor June Ebdanian. So as of now, more of yung malilit na bangka, 3 tons, 3-tonner boats, ang naglalayag. So malalapit lang yung inaabot yan. A few kilometers from our shoreline.
So that would mean they will be,
Sandali, ang suggestion ko, pag nagtatanong, introduce nyo na lang yung nyo, at saka yung organization, para naman may idea si Mayor saan kayo, di ba?
Morning, Mayor. Ako po si Faith Bacon. I'm part of PATH Foundation, Philippines. We have an area here in Zambales, but it's more in the Subic area. We work with small fisher folks and commercial fishers too. May bagsakan po doon may pierde. Nandun ang aming projects. So we help them process the fish into gourmet tuyo, yung mga ganon. So to add value to their livelihood. Ang tanong ko po dun sa 15 kilometers, so if this is just small fisher folk ang mga tao dito sa San Felipe. So, what do you think would be the effect to them of the Supreme Court decision of allowing commercial fish to enter the 15 kilometer?
Well, kaya nga po ini-encourage ni Governor Jun Abdani na go into commercial fishing. Kaya ang proposal ni Gov help out ang ating mga organized into a cooperative or association. Then the provincial government will be the one to ang commitment nga ni Gov, ibibigyan sila ng vessel na malalaki. What's important is meron nag-initiate ng mag-create sila ng group or cooperative so that they'll be trained to handle such organization. Kasi as of now, yun na. Kasi ang nature po ng aming coastal is talagang open sea. So, hindi katulad sa Subic na meron silang cove. So, during typhoon season, talagang kailangan i-design yung port for a big vessel. Talagang can it stand the open sea po ito. So, talagang very difficult for hindi katulad po ng Masinloc, meron silang cove, bay. So nakakaroon sila ng port, no? Well, meron isang port na ongoing ngayon dito sa may San Narciso, pero still sakop ng San Felipe po yun eh. Port ongoing, so I don't know when will it operate, no? Nabinigyan ng PPA ng permit to construct port. So as of now, wala pa naman. May construction, so we don't know until when. Pero sa ngayon, ang move talaga ni Governor Jun Abdani, mag-organize ang mga through the Mao Municipal Agriculture at the Provincial Agriculture Office and support whatever they need para ma-create itong mga commercial fishing. Meron ho kaming create na binigay ang BFAR sa amin ng fish landing facility pero hindi na na-utilize because of the nature ng Ayan po. May fish landing pero hindi utilized kasi nga po yung volume ng fish kukunti and yung organization basically wala pa. So we're trying and the necessary ordinances para maprotektahan through fishery code ng bayan. So we're rushing that one para kasi yung alam niyo naman po yung mga fish, maliliit na fishing vessel minsan naiutang na bago nila naibibenta. So, kulang sa puhunan, yung mga middlemen, pahihiraman ka na, pero yung huli mo, kanya na. So, pagdaong pa lang sa bangka, yung mga middlemen, they make it sure na kanila na yung benta. And the worst part is, pag nakuha yung fish, they bring it to other big municipalities like Subic. Tapos yung mga kababayan ko pupunta sa Subic, bibili na isda, ibabalik dito. So, that's the reality. So, we're trying to rush yung fisheries code ng bayan and with the help of the governor. No? So, kaya yung iba, dahil sa maliit ang kita, day-to-day basis ang nangyayari sa mga mangingisda, no? Yung iba karamihan nagsishift into tourism like yung rental ng pagka, banana boats and so on. Na mabilis ang kita. So, yun po ang reality ng aming fishing industry here.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Mayor. So, may
tanong pa.
Any more questions?
Si Joy. Tapos, si Jose may hawak na siyang mic eh. Mauna ka na. Hawak yung mic.
Maraming salamat po for welcoming us. Yeah. I know.
Introduce.
Ako po si Joseph Aquino. I'm from NCR, Caloocan, specific. Council member for the NCR. Siguro yung I'm trying to think na siyempre this is exploratory talk at saka konti yung oras natin para mapag-usapan lahat. So definitely there can be possibility na mag-explore tayo ng partnership national level and then yung local, and maybe San Felipe through your leadership sa window para doon sa Zambales. Ano po?
Yes po.
Siguro parang ang tanong ko ay basically leading towards yung long term. Ang function po kasi namin ay actually policy coordination. Ano po? Pero siyempre, yung policy coordination, we expect that it will lead to programs and projects. No? Practically speaking, ang perspective namin is poverty reduction is disaster reduction. So parang gano'n, so food, adequate housing, food security, health, education, and labor, decent labor. Siguro baka yun yung later on, under Section 12 of RA 8425 ng NAPSI, may coordination po sa so baka siguro yung aspect na yun later on, kung willing po kayo na we can explore later on sa level ng LGU at saka ng NAPSI, siguro si CN Loy, at ma-discuss natin. Well, generally ganun yung context. Pero siguro baka kung may mga issues na ang kaibahan kasi ng NAPSI yung representation po and participation, and we are on the basic sectors, yung 14 basic sectors. So baka kung may need later on na to discuss yung sinasabi niyong mga issue and concern areas from the sectors, no? Yung tamang information or yung tamang dialogue, baka yun yung isa aside from the overall arcing perspective na we can develop partnership. So baka to mediate and to discuss yung mga concerns ng mga organizations with you. And then maybe we can forge yung plan. Tapos, tatakbo pa naman kayo or other preparation.
It's my first term as mayor. Nung nakaraan, board member po ako ng Zambales. First time board member.
Yung province level experience.
Yes, board member po ako noon. First time board member, then I ran for mayor here in first term. So, first term.
So malaking bagay po yun. And I think that's yung information na yun, malaking magiging bahagi po natin.
Yes po, and talagang malaking bagay kasi yung communication ko with the province is mabilis, no? Unlike pag wala kang experience sa taas, the fellows, guys there, daling tanungin, konsulta, lawyers, kausapin, and so on, and the heads of agencies, including governor. Ang daling, basta kung maganda yung communication and relationship, mabilis po eh. Yun po ang advantage ko at being the mayor here.
Yeah.
Parang last question, just to note, kasi siyempre po hindi natin madidiscuss ngayon yung activities.
Tanong pala yun.
Willing po ba kayo later on na we can all say parang memorandum of understanding yung
Yes po,
you can explore.
I'll always be willing to, basta po sa ikabubuti ng aking bayan, why not?
Yes.
Always open to it.
Yes.
Salamat po, Mayor.
Opo. Thank you po.
Just want to remind you magmutaganong, let us be straight and precise because we are running out of time.
Well, anyway, it's okay. You can go ahead with the... I'm sure the governor will understand kung ba't wala si Mayor. Last year, 4th class kami. Then yung year, nag-3rd class na po.
Congrats,
congrats.
Mayor.
Actually, sa aking term, napa-3rd class po natin ang ating bayan.
Sunod na dun, Mayor, first class na.
Hopefully.
Dahil-
Hopefully.
Good morning po.
Good morning,
Ako
ma'am.
po si Joy Vascano. NCR base. Yung tanong ko po, actually hindi pa tanong eh. One of the work of NAPSI is local poverty reduction plan, no, coming up with LPRAP, no. And we really encourage sana itong, I do not know if you're familiar with that, pero yun, isa sa mga ginagawa kasi ni Sec Lope ngayon is to go to the different areas, no, local areas, to come up with local poverty reduction plan. And ayun, parang isang yon, we really encourage sana, no, sa Zambales to come up with a local poverty LPRAP, no. And it's very much connected with local disaster risk reduction plan, no. So, yun, siguro yung sinabi ni Ose, isang importante. Pero yung, recently kasi, yung tanong ko, recently, Zambales as a whole was put in the forefront ng yung issue because of the West Philippine Sea, no? And you're telling us that, yun nga, yung may mga issue tungkol sa fisher folks, no? Yung kumbaga, yun yung major na pinagkukunan originally sa Zambales. How does the West Philippine Sea, no, particularly maraming nakikita na mga Chinese vessels, no? How does that situation affect yung poverty, or siguro wag ng poverty, yung source of income ng mga fisher folks, considering that in a way they're affected?
Sa bayan namin hindi namin nararamdaman yung effect ng West Philippine Sea kasi nga po malalapit lang yung pinupuntahan ng aming fisher folks. Ang affected mainly is yung Masinloc kasi yan yung mga commercial vessel na nakakarating doon sa Scarborough Shore na malalayo. And I don't know, Subic kung nakakarating doon, no? Kasi commercial vessel. Pero dito sa town ko, hindi naman namin ramdam ang effect, no? Balita and so on, pero wala masyadong effect sa amin kasi nga malalapit lang ang aming vessel within the 15 kilometer municipal waters lang nakakapunta ang aming fisher folks. So yun lang po ang aming other issues like Chinese vessels and so on, wala naman kaming okay naman kami, wala kaming walang effect po sa amin.
Sir,
Yes po.
para sa mismo from Region 1. Ay, tatanong ko lang po, gaano ka-active o kung meron man yung representation ng mga POs,
Yun.
NGOs sa, let's say, sa LGU through the Dream Sea or Municipal Dream Sea? Meron ba?
Sa marami po
Tatanong ko sana
marami
yun.
kami CSO na
Na nakaupo po.
aming municipality.
Apo.
And isa sa active yung mga fisher folks ng may three association of fisher folks. One in Lawag, Maloma, other in Sindol, and mainly dito sa Santo Niño. Meron naman silang organization. At regularly naman kami nag-meet and regularly naman sila na nabibigyan namin ng support whatever they need, especially
Yes.
during rainy typhoon season, no? Na wala talaga silang time o wala silang namang isda. Mahaba po yung rainy season eh. So, kung nakakapangisla lang sila, sisingit-singit, walang bagyo ngayon, singit, pero darating ulit bagyo next week, wala na naman sila. Kumbaga, maglalayag sila ng 2 days, 3 days, then darating yung bagyo, whole week na yun. Kasi after the bagyo, malakas pa rin yung alon. So, yun yung kanilang mga problema sometimes. Pero kami dito sa LGU during that time, it's a good thing na si Congresswoman, during rainy season, meron siyang rice subsidy.
Wow.
No, na they can buy rice at 20 pesos per kilo.
Uy, nandito ang 20 pesos.
Yes po.
Nandito ang 20 pesos ng
Then,
bigas.
salitan kami. Itong buwan na to, nabibili kay
Andito pala ang
Congresswoman
20 pesos na bigas.
20 pesos per kilo. Then after 1 month, munisipyo naman ang mag-i-initiate ng rice subsidy. Then the next month naman, barangay. So, at least kahit pa paano, hindi man the whole month sustain yung at least one time sa
May
isang
sila sa food.
sa isang buwan, may 10 kilo silang mabili sa 20 pesos. Then the next month, munisipyo naman na magsasubsidize. Then the next one is barangay. So, kami lang po yung bayan sa Zambales na nagagawa po namin
Wow.
na free from COM, from municipality, and from barangay.
Wow.
20 pesos per kilo.
Wow.
Aside from yun, maliban pa yun sa mga time na talagang kailangan ng may bagyo na maliban doon sa 10 pesos, talagang bigay na from relief from municipality. Priority pa natin fisher folks. But,
Galing.
Ay, that's good to know, Mayor. Kasi, gusto lang namin, Mayor, na isa actually sa policy, no, na advocacy ng BBC na talagang na-push na namin yung representation, no, sa LGRMC. So, apart noong mga CSO na required sa batas na 4, merong bagong guidelines. I hope na nakarating o kung hindi pa makarating sa inyo din. No? So, na mayroong additional na basic sector representatives sa LDRRMC. see. And isang ano talaga nun ay, ayun, kung ma-engage ng basic sector with the NAPSI support, yung policy making ng local government. And then, that's all, hindi lang siya, kung hindi lang yung pagpupush, kundi also learning, no, yung mga good practice ng mga LGU. Kasi, modeling yon. Kasi itong initiative na to, this is actually a nationwide, parang, strengthening the mechanism in a more structured way. And so NAPSI will now be, through the VDC and the basic sector, will facilitate the strengthening of this capacity of the basic sectors and also engagement with the LGU and yung learning from each other. Hopefully, other LGUs will be learning from other LGUs and through the basic sector. So, siguro yun yung Mayor, kasi inaano na natin ngayon na yung regional and local level, merong representation ang basic sector. So, hopefully, we can ensure na yung sa San Felipe ay ma-communicate po ng NAPSI with the OCD. And we will be learning from this, no? Yung preparedness, maganda kasi isang advocacy kasi yan na Fisher Folks is among those most vulnerable sa disaster.
Yes.
And yun yung isang issue talaga na paano pag may bagyo? Paano pag kasi yung relief usually nangyayari after. Kaya yung mga daw, kasi kami din Mayor, sa Mindanao kami, may project kami sa Siargao, mga open sea din. Yun yung inaano ng mga program. Kahit may bagyo o may dahil talaga yung sa poverty, maglalayag pa rin. Oo, di ba? That's actually, so, yung initiative po ng San Felipe, that's actually a good, learning example. As a preventing disasters.
Tsaka normally ang relief pag may bagyo. Tama po si Ma'am. Pero, alam niyo po dito, pag panahon ng southwest monsoon, hindi lang naman bagyo yung hangin eh. So, pag mahangin, walang layag kasi malalaking alon. Pero hindi na po consider sa relief operation yun. Especially kung wala naman deklarasyon ng
state of calamity.
State of calamity.
Yes.
So, sa amin, yun nga, sa span ng 3 months na rainy season, nag-alternate kami ng munisipyo na they can buy. At yun din ang in-encourage namin instead of pag-relief, yun during calamity, relief. Pero pag wala, ma-encourage yung mga tao to buy it na lang at mura para ma-extend pa po yung budget na ma-accommodate. Kasi yung napagbentahan po niyan, bibili ulit namin ng bigas para mas maraming maabutan na can afford the 20 And kung titignan nyo naman, LGU can do that. LGU can do that. Especially yung mga malalaking bayan. Kami ang third-class municipality. Ang family heads namin about nasa 9,000 eh. 9,000. Actually, hindi lang Fisher Folks, damay lahat. Lahat buong bayan. 9,000 family heads. No? So, na-accommodate namin na bilhan sila ng murang bigas. They pay para mabigyan yung 9,000 family heads na they can buy it at 20 pesos. We're spending about 4 million, no? 4 million lang eh. So, cover lahat at 10 kilos na bibigyan 20. Kasi, ang babayaran mo lang actually doon, 5,000. Tapos yung mapagbentahan, ibibili mo ulit para mapunuan yung 9,000.
9,000 family heads.
Family heads.
Nasa listahan. Hindi
official list ng family heads.
Hindi po population yun. Yun nasa listahan.
Mayor,
Opo.
kayo ba awarded sa GK?
Ano yung GK? Ay, hindi pa. Kasi meron kaming 0.0 something on this. Actually, award sana kaya lang yung aking staff medyo may na-miss na something.
Ay, sayang.
Nung diniscuss namin ng OCD, 0.04 lang ata. Tapos yung mga kinulang namin, actually, what they call that, ministerial lang. Common mistakes.
Next time.
Well, hopefully.
Kaya 2026.
Medyo naging malaki ang challenge namin kasi being a fourth-class municipality.
Yeah.
Actually, yung organization namin, kaparehas lang ng first at second eh. So, challenging sa amin kasi mas maliit naman yung budget namin. Half lang kami.
Yeah.
ang problem ko is yung pag-create ng mga position. From 4th class, ang personal salary limit namin is 55% ng total budget. Pag nag-3rd class ka, 45. So, akala ko, lumaki nga yung budget namin ng konti. Lumiit naman yung limit namin. So, tapos nasabayan pa ng salary increase na linabas ng DBM. So, supposedly, yung permanent position na rin-require ng LDREAM, no, tsaka tourism, medyo nahirapan ako kasi mag-cope up with the kapo. So,
Evaluator kasi ito na.
yan ang challenge sa amin talaga, ma'am. Like yung, actually, pero naisingit ko naman mag-create ng position, permanent position sa LDREAM na isa. 3rd class required yung salary grade 18. Yung designated ko is salary grade 15 lang. So again, I have to create. So malaking challenge po sa amin, especially yung 3rd, 4th class. Unlike yung 1st at 2nd class, matataas na talaga yung budgetary allocation from the national government. So malaking challenge. So habol ako talaga sa income generating programs ng municipality. So may question po.
Ako po si Loy Arwesa, taga Zambales po ako.
Apo, sir.
Maraming beses ko nang nakita si Mayor sa mga meeting, no? Ina-affirm ko po yung sinasabi niya, totoo po yun sa 20 pesos na bigas. Hindi lang dito yun. Whole 2nd district ng Zambales ay may ganung ano.
Yes.
Kaya lang mas advanced sila kasi
Pati barangay. 3 times ang
ano nila. Tapos kami din po, Mayor, yung tumulong sa LALEC through Social Action Center at saka yung Caritas, si Sir RJ ay nakakausap namin. At saka dito sa Sindol, kami rin yung nagbigay ng livelihood. Kasi nga, tumutugong kami dun sa 5 ng Magna Carta of the Poor, yung housing, mga gano'n, no? Ano ko lang, sana bukod dyan sa mga bigas, ano pa yung ginagawa ng ating pamahalaan para matulungan yung mahirap dito sa Sampilipi. Nakakasama ko din kasi sina Sir Gary, may mga programa din silang ginagawa na nakakatulong sa basic sector tulad ng pagpapa-accredit, pag-registered sa iba't ibang registering body ay tinutulungan ng LGU. Siguro maganda din sabihin na malakas yung Clean and Green program ni na Mayor at siguro siya magkukwento kung paano tumatakbo din. Thank you po.
Regarding dun sa ano yung nabanggit ni Sir na isa?
Clean and green.
Maliit sa clean and green.
Sa registration.
Sa registration. Dinala po namin yung SEC dito so that kasi isa sa problem ng mga CSO organization is yung pag-apply sa SEC pa-register.
Yeah.
Hindi sila maalam yung process going to
Manila.
Tarlac, no? For Region 3, ando doon nata right now yung SEC office. So, nahihirapan sila. So, what I did is, kinausap natin yung regional office ng SEC. And 2 beses na sila nag-conduct ng SEC registration here. So, dito pa lang, one day, na-register kagad sila.
Pwede pala yun.
At tinuruan sila on how to
Online.
file yung yearly statement, GIS, and so on.
FS.
So marami nag-avail, including, actually hindi lang sa Philippines in-invite namin yun, the whole second
Province.
district
Second.
package na yun. So, niyaya namin sila dito.
Na-
With regards naman dun sa mga other programs of poverty, actually meron kami isang resettlement area dito ng mga IPs like LALEC.
Housing.
Dito sa may sitio Camaruan. Mostly mga IPs po ito na na-displace nung panahon ng Pinatubo. So nag-settle sila doon sa isang medyo maliit na bundok na nagkataon through the years, hindi naman natin alam kung paano, yung lote naging title. So that's problem para sa kanila. So nung umupo akong mayor, last year lumapit sa akin yung mga IPs dahil pinupunta na sila na may-ari na talagang sabi ko naman sa IPs, wala tayong magagawa right now kasi title. So, ang pinaka-remedyo, either hanapan kayo ng resettlement area. That is a requirement sa batas na bago mo ma-displace itong mga indigents and so on, kailangan hanapan mo ng resettlement. So, mas malaking problema sa tingin ko. So, I talk to the owner and negotiate na if it's possible to buy the land by the municipality, and they agreed. So, sabi ko sa may-ari, kaysa sa problemahin natin, hanapan sila ng resettlement area. And baka hindi pa sila
Pinenta na lang ng may-ari.
pumayag, so you'll go to court and so on, habang proseso. So, let's settle whatever you can
Binili na
provide us. So, humingi ako ng tulong sa Provincial Assessor Office to assess the land, kasi yun lang po ang allowed na bayaran ng munisipyo, the value na assess ng ating probinsya. So, sa madalit sabi na pumayag yung may-ari with the assessed value at purchase na namin. Yung lote. This year lang na initiate yung project. 2.3 hectares.
Wow, malaki.
So, now, ang head of the family is 57. So, let's assume 100 to 150
Nanganak na yun.
residents. So, ang initial plan namin, ngayon na na-purchase na basically sa munisipyo na. So, what I'm trying to ask the Sangguniang Bayan is to have first magkaroon ng use of frac arrangement. Let them use, pakinabangan nila ng lupa, a certain provision na hindi nila ibenta, gamitin lang mo nila for a while. Then, habang ginagawa natin ito, sabi ko sa Sangguniang Bayan, let's allot budget to develop the community. A community that is buhay, a community that is functioning, hindi yung nandoon lang sila. Kasi as of now, pag titignan mo yung community, wala eh. They stay there para may tirahan lang, pero wala kang makitang kaayusan, no? So sabi ko, tulungan na natin i-develop yung community, bigyan sila ng whatever facility, daycare, the plaza, para ma-feel naman nila na they belong to a community that is working community. So yun ang plan ko. Then after a while, pag they can manage their own community, then i-donate na natin yung lupa. Ask the municipality, di sa Korean to by way of donation sa registered head of the families. By that time, siguro baka maalis na yung kanilang agam-agam, no? And whatever employment may offer natin. So, yan po. Tapos, isang problem din ko talaga on sa LGU side, yung sa farming industry, pagdating sa linkage with the national agency, sana may policy tayo na, like for example, NIA, no? Ang NIA nag-implement ng program na hindi naman talaga dumadaan sa LGU. Being a national administration, so walang coordination and so on. Mabalitaan mo lang, gumagawa ganito, then here comes the farmers. Mayor, parang mali yung ginagawa nila. So sabi ko, hindi natin masabing mali, hindi ko rin masabing tama. Kasi hindi nag-present ng any engineering technical.
Mali ang gawa.
I don't know kung nagkaroon ng negotiation with the Association of Farmers. Kasi the best people to know kung ano talaga yung takbo ng tubig, yung farmers. Then samahan mo ng engineering study, i-validate mo kung may valid yung kanilang engineering study.
Yes.
That's it. Hindi yung darating nila yung project, andyan dyan na. So ako nga, nagtatanong sa DPWH, kaninong project ito, and so on. Then darating naman itong mga farmers, bakit ganito, bakit ganyan? So who can answer, di ba? So yun pa is akong yung linkage na, kasi the best one to know is the LGU talaga. Hindi naman kami nakikipag-agawa na sa amin nila yung no. Yung coordination lang. Kasi meron din kami mga priorities. Like for example, meron dam dito na yearly, paulit-ulit ginagawa. No? Ang gagawin ng farmers, they come to me. Pag medyo ganitong panahon na wala ng bagyo, wala ng tubig, patatambakan sa akin just to water impounding. Then pag dumating yung rainy season na aapaw, paaalis na naman yung tambak. It's a yearly routine. Sabi ko, ano ang expense natin na heavy equipment using fuel and so on, how many loads of truck, no? It's a routine na gano'n ang gano'n. So sabi ko, wala bang permanent solution kung naibabanggit sa NIA. Actually, we brought it up. Sabi nila, sinukat na daw ng niya sabi ng mga Farmers Association until na wala namang no.
Problema
So
din
isang
sa amin.
rin yun na makakaano sa help sa ating farmers na malinaw sana ang projects or programs na ng NIA kasi mainly farming din kami. So yun.
Oo, may farming.
Yeah. Kasi considering yung talagang salapat yung river channels namin because of the Pinatubo. So every rainy season, iba-iba yung dinadaanan ng tubig. So yan ang isang challenge namin sa farming industry.
Yeah. May question po ako. Nabanggit niyo po yung river channels. When we were moving in from galing sa Subic, nakita po namin yung river ninyo was highly, bailahar,
Silted. Silted.
Silted, wala nang tubig. No? Meron din po kasi nakarating sa amin na balita na may issue po kasi kami sa NCR for a while. Well, actually because NAPSI also signed an MOU with the Philippine Reclamation Agency. Authority ba yan? PRA. That we have a partnership with PRA in relation to the reclamation in the Manila Bay area, and a lot of the basic sector organizations are actually complaining about it. No? And they were saying that one of the source of the sand that is being placed in the reclamation site of Manila Bay comes from Zambales. So, nung nagtanong-tanong po kami, nabalitaan din namin na mayroon po issue dito yata sa Zambales, both, I don't know, it's also San Felipe and I think it's also San Narciso, this area, about the sand, yung kung saan kinukuha yung mga buhangin. And I think there are communities that are actually complaining about it. So, bahagi rin po kasi ng trabaho namin ang environment. Actually, that was a statement we gave the secretary. The VDC do not agree with reclamation because other sectors also are, especially the fisher folks, are complaining about that. And we also, by nature of our work, do not agree with the quarrying of the sand because it also affects biodiversity. So yun po, Mayor. Thank you. Ito po.
Yeah, it's a good thing na nabanggit mo yan. Para once and for all, magkaroon kayo ng information about such situation here. Alam niya, since Pinatubo, hindi na aalis yung buhangin namin sa river channels. No? Ang San Felipe is in between two major rivers. Santo Tomas yung dinaanan yung Puntulay, then Maloma River. 2019-2020, naglabas po ang DNR ng Department Administrative Order. I think that is 2020-19. I'm not sure if it's correct. It's a rationalization of river restoration along major rivers throughout the Philippines. Kasi kaya ginawa po ng DNR yan kasi ang siltation ng mga river is a continuous event na nangyayari all throughout major rivers. It so happens na ang Zambales, because of the eruption of Pinatubo, billions of cubic of sand ang ibinuga. And still billions of sand na nasa upstream, nasa slopes, nasa mga bundok namin. On a yearly basis, kung if you'll have time to visit the end of the dike sa dulo, no, napakaraming buhangin. No, and the difference in level between the farmland tsaka yung riverbed is about 20 meters high to 30. And every year, nagkakaroon po ng siltation na about half to 1 meter. Every year.
Nadadagdagan.
Yes.
Dagat sa taas.
Sana para ma-appreciate nyo the reason why it is very important for us na maalis yung buhangin because of the siltation.
Yes.
And considering na dalawang major rivers namin, San Felipe is in between, saan sa tingin nyo pumupunta yung tubig? It's not on the river channel, that's nasa town namin. Lahat po ng bumababa sa bundok na in between, sa amin pumupunta. And considering mataas yung national highway namin, so ang bottom line, ang end namin is this. That's one problem. The second problem is, ang gobyerno is spending too much money raising the dike on a yearly basis. Like for example, doon sa dulo ng dike, 200 million right now ongoing just to increase the height. Doon naman sa Maloma River, 400 million just to increase the height. So isipin po natin, that's too much money the government is spending. No? Pero siyempre, pag kukumpara mo yung cost, too much money, baliwala po yan kung mabuwal yung dike at matabunan ng buong bayan ng San Felipe. And for the past how many years, on a yearly basis, parati kaming worried. There are cases na minsan kalahati ng dike na iwan, half of it yung road dike, kalahati nun scar na. In a matter of hours, kung hindi naagapan ng ating provincial government, baka nabuwal na, matulad na kami sa Guagua or Lubao before Bacolor na matabunan ang buong bayan. So, I hope sa site po ninyo, you have the time to scan the map. Makikita nyo sa even Google, talagang kulay puti yan hanggang upstream. And that's yan yung agam-agam namin on a yearly basis being the mayor, no? Na kailangan, para sa akin, any program, any project that will slow down the siltation, hindi po ako mag-o-object. Kasi that will endanger yung aking bayan. At ito pa isa, yung pangatlo, yung mga factors. Yung river restoration na ginagawa ngayon na in-initiate ng ating DNR, no? Ang nagha-handle po niya ay interagency committee. Andiyan dyan po yung province, DNR, DPWH, through EMB and MGB of DNR. So sila po ang nagmamanage actually ng river restoration. So ang position lang ng LGU is whether we object or not object. Even we object, we have to justify. And still the decision of continuing the project and so on is not ours. It's up to the national and the province, the interagency committee. Yan po ang sequence. Now, tulad ng sabi ko, for me, any program project that will slow down the siltation, nakakahinga kami ng konti. Ito po ang isang maganda dyan. The national government is not spending a single centavo para ma-remove yung sand because of the reclamation in Manila Bay. Oh, di ba? So, private po yan eh. SM po ang nag-funding yan eh. So, sila lahat yan. I don't know the arrangement of the national. So, sa reclamation side, it's not our concern. It's the national one. Kung may agreement kayo or post na it's not on our part. Para sa akin po, ma-remove yung sand. It's already a big thing sa amin. Pero, ang hindi ho nakikita ng iba, yung buwis na pinaglaban ni Governor Jun Ibdani. Kasi before, yung river restoration supposed to be will be implemented only by DNR and TPWH with a MOU with the province. Pero si Governor Jun Ibdani, talagang pinortion niya na kailangan we do it so that the province will benefit sa buwis na makukuha dyan. So, yun yung main thing eh. So, right now, for 2023 alone, no? Starting first quarter ng 2023 until March ng 2024, nung nagkaroon ng suspension ng dredging, ang na-receive na buwis ng bayan ng San Felipe is about 100 million. So, sino po ang tatanggi bilang punong bayan?
Kaya siya naging third class municipality na.
Yes. Tsaka,
dahil lumaki ang income.
itong 100 million, translated dito sa fuel subsidy sa TODA, sa bangka owners, translated dito sa educational assistance na bibigyan ko yung high school, pati elementary.
Yes.
Translated dito sa infrastructure project going sa coastal. Translated dito sa other programs na ginagawa po ng bayan. Now, pagdating naman po doon sa issue na sinasabing seabed mining, wala pong seabed mining. Kasi ang process po ng river restoration, or we may call it dredging, kasi hindi ko ginagamit yung dredging, kasi ang title talaga ng whole program is river restoration. That's what's the name of the project by the DNR. River restoration. The only thing na nagkakaroon ng distinction is you use dredgers to suck the sand. No. Now, ang question ng iba, bakit ika dun sa bunganga ng ilog or sa dagat, hindi dun sa taas? First of all, who will do that? Using conventional equipment, no? Hahakutin mo yung buhangin papuntang Maynila. It's economics behind ang pinag-uusapan. No one will do that. No business van will haul sand mula sa taas, then i-travel mo Manila. That will be
Maghihintay muna na madali.
Nasa baba.
Na magpababa.
yeah. So the best mode is through dredgers kasi ang volume ng isang barko is about maliit na barko is about 5,000 cubic. The bigger ones, I think, can accommodate 10,000 cubic in a matter of 4 hours. Ayan, isang dump truck po, sabihin mo ng 30 cubic lang, ita-travel mo pa ng Maynila. No one will do that. So, it's all about economics. No? Wala mong maghahakot sa taas. And isa pa, how long will it take you to use it conventional equipment? Billions of cubic yung bumaba. So, no one will do that. So, the best way talaga is parang tubig yan. You declog the front so that during rainy season, baba lang ng baba yung buhangin. So, yan ang
Tapos
doon kukunin. And right now, if you will have time to visit yung mouth ng river doon sa may tawag doon, sa may Bacolod, Santo Tomas River, ang barko nakapasok na about 500 meters inside.
Kaya pala may ano na doon.
So, ang projection ng Interagency Committee by the end of the year, kung hindi masyadong malakas yung magiging bagyo at ulan, baka nandiyan dyan na sa may tulay.
Sa may tulay.
Yeah.
Daanan natin.
So, sabi ko sa
Dahil
ating
andun
mga
na sa bunganga
kababayan,
eh.
Nakita na.
ayaw nyo, before kasi, yung tulay na yan, yung riverbed ngayon, existing ngayon, yan yung taas ng tulay dati. Yeah.
So inangat na yan.
Inangat na yung bridge, kaya kita nyo pataas.
Mataas.
Oo. So yung pagbaba ng tulay, yun na yung dating, ibabaw ng
ilog,
tulay.
opo.
So imagine nyo, yung ilog dati, mas malalim pa. At before, yung mga bata, doon sa ibabaw ng tulay before, nakakatalon pa mag-swimming. So may imagine ninyo that. I think ang estimate nila is about 40 meters
Ang itinaas
na
na.
ang kalalim. So it's billions of cubic of sand. So sasay po namin sa LGU, maliban sa economics behind, yung opportunity. After reclamation, what now? So we'll let it, yung punuin na lang yung ilog namin until such time magiba yung dike, or the government will spend millions again to raise yung dike. Hindi ho posible na hanggang itaas mo yung dike. That is very dangerous.
Kasi
Heavy. Mabigat na yan. So the moment na nabuwal yan ng kapraso, the whole of it will be washed out in a matter of hours. Ganun po ang tubig. So yan po ang hinaharap na danger ng bayan. Now, with respect to yung mga ibang social media, let me say, saka yung mga ibang group na sinasabi nilang nawawala ng hanap buhay ang ating mga fisher folk. Nabanggit ko kanina, ang coastal namin is 9 kilometers. Ang river restoration is about 100-200 meters sa harapan ng ilog. So why concentrate ka doon sa may river restoration na kailangan talagang i-remove yung sand? Bakit doon ka i-concentrate fishing? You have a 9-kilometer coastal area that you can go ahead. Tsaka ito po, ang main reason kaya talaga nasira yung aming coastal ecosystem, biodiversity sa aming coastal, yung pinatubo. Alam niyo before pinatubo, dito sa may malapit lang, by the way, ang accretion namin is about 300 to 500 meters. Yes. Alam niyo kasi ang rason noon, every rainy season, bababa yung buhangin. Ito yung may bagyo, ibabalik ng alon ng malaki and spread out throughout the coastal. Especially southwest monsoon na yung hangin ito gano'n. So lahat ng bumaba doon sa tubig, spread out yan sa aming coastal. Kaya in a matter of 5-10 years, 500, may mga area 500 meters yun na rin accretion. Na area, very unstable land. At before that, yung coastal namin, ayan yung bye-bye, how many meters pa lang malalim na.
Correct, kantilado ang tawag.
Kaya nga hindi ideal for tourism.
Oo.
Ideal for fishing talaga before. Kaya because of pinatubo, yan talaga nag-damage ng aming shoreline kasi tinabunan lahat ng buhangin. So nawala yung biodiversity sa malapit. So bago ka makakuha ng isda, medyo lalayo ka na. Kasi yung naging coastal namin, yung grade ng sun, talagang naging gano'n na. Kaya naging ideal.
For
Gradual
tourism na.
na. Kaya naging ideal for tourism.
mga
Dahil
beaches.
nakakaligo na yung mga tao na gano'n. Before, hindi. Sino ba naman maliligo na
Content.
a few meters ka pa lang, lubog ka na. Yan yung situation namin. Kaya yung sinasabi ng iba na itong river restoration, nasisira yung in the first place, pinatubo talaga nagsira ng aming biodiversity. Tinabunan lahat. Dito, gradual. How much more gano'ng kalayo yung buhangin na paganon. So I think it's about 500, I'm not sure, 500 to 1. Baka yung slope niyan natabunin yung buo. So yun yung mga reasons behind. Well, hindi ko naman maaalis siyempre yung agam-agam ng ating fisher folks. Kasi what's important is for them to understand the technical part, the idea, the reasons why meron tayong river restoration. Kasi siyempre, kung ikaw naman, kahit naman ako, kung ako nakatira dun sa Pagpang, siyempre, yung agam-agam ko ato doon. Pero being the mayor, siyempre, you have to look at the whole scenario. At isang affected area, mainly namin pag rainy season farmers. Kasi, baha
Babaha.
Yung palay nila. And every year, naiiba yung direction ng tubig kasi na yung original na
Nadaan.
kaluyan ng river channel, wala na. So every rainy season, ibababa yung buhangin sa banda rito. Next year, may buhangin na to, dito na naman dadaan. So, ganun ang parating problema ng mga farmers namin. Every year na yan. So it's a balance between kung paano namin i-address. And it's a good thing na yung revenue buwis na nakukuha namin, natatranslate namin into assistance, into infra. Yun nga lang, sana through you, sa ating council, makarecommend tayo ng mga policies regarding sa implementation ng irrigation system, how to do it, tapos yung implementation policies and guidelines ng ating DNR sa aming coastal area. Alam nyo, bilang mayor, medyo challenge ako talaga. Nung umupo ako first time mayor, no? The occupant settlers, nandiyan na po sa coastal. Occupying accretion unclassified land. So what will I do as mayor? Hindi ko naman pwedeng paalisin sila lahat. Gera abutin ko dyan. And at the same time, andyan dyan ang tourism industry. Andyan yung employment. Andyan yung nagtatrabaho yung mga tigasan ng Philippines. So what will I do? No? Unclassified yung lupa until now. So, sabi ko sa DNR, help us out. Paano nyo ba i-classify yung lupa? Is it ready for alienable and disposable so that we can manage the land efficiently? Until such time hindi ma-classify at madeklarang A&D, how can we manage? We'll be facing all throughout yung illegal settlers. How to deal, hindi kami maka-issue ng building permit because of ownership issues. Yun po yung mga hinaharap ko challenges. Pero nung ako yung upo, walang business permit na i-issue because of that nature. Kaya lang, sabi ko, ang municipality ang kawawa. Everybody's doing business. Hindi natin ini-issue ng permit because of some technical issues. So, ano ang mode na ginawa ko, ma'am? Ang ginawa ko po, consulted lawyers and so on sa province and suggestion nila, mag-initiate na lang ng affidavit of undertaking na yung land na ino-occupy nila is not in any way related to sa business permit na issue mo for tax purposes only. And then meron silang applyan legally sa DNR yung lote. So yun na lang, para ma-issue mo ng permit, magbayad sila. Kasi
So yung coastline.
yun po ang hinaharap namin problem. Ay isipin niyo kung hindi ako mamumulekta sa katayabang basura na aking inaasikaso on a weekly basis.
Ayan, waste, issue din ng waste management.
4 beans a week, spending 20,000 per biyahe papuntang Pampanga just to dispose of waste. Yes, kasi hindi na po allowed, di ba, yung open dump site. So, either ano ka ng MRF or sanitary dump site na talagang may criteria. You will spend 100 millions of pesos to develop.
Sanitary landfill.
So, talagang dinidispose namin doon sa accredited ng DNR.
Which is Pampanga.
Which is Pampanga.
Wow, that's so far.
Isipin niyo yung ginagastos sa munisipyo. So, if I will not charge business permit in business ko, wawa naman ang bayan.
Walang kikita ang pambili ng
Walang
crudo.
kita, mabili, and so on. Dahil hindi ko ma-develop ng maayos. So, yan po ang lima namin. So, on our part, on my part, I'm waiting for whatever ano ng DNR with regards to the, until now, it's unclassified eh. So, if it's unclassified accretion area, ano ang stand na dapat namin gawin, no? Dapat, kasi ang management, supervision, at disposition of public land belongs to DNR. Jurisdiction lang namin, sana caretaker po ang bayan. Kaya lang na umupo ako, dyan na. Buti sana kung totally wala pa, pwede kong bantayan yan. Oops, huwag kayo magtatayo. Makita mo na kayo ng legal document from DNR. Pwede sana. Pero nang umupo ako, dyan na. So what will I do? Win-win solution na lang yung hanapin natin for the benefit of my constituents. So yun po yung aming hinaharap challenges, yung unclassified land sa aming coastal area, which is about 500 to 300 meters accretion area. Hindi lang accretion, unstable land.
So parang 300 to 500 sa 9 kilometers.
Yes, on the average. Kasi mayroong 500, may 200. Ang laki talaga.
In hectares ba, gano'n nakahaba?
Malaki po. Kung on the average sa 300 na lang, times 9 kilometers, that's about 300,000. O 300 ay ayaw sa computation. That's a laki. Yes. Sabi ko nga sa BN na, can you declare it at wala bang code na ipaubayan niya sa LGU yung management and development? So yun, again, we need guidelines, we need policies from the national to do it. Yes, through sa Korean Bayan, I endorse it to DNR. DNR, ano ba ang dapat na guide us kung ano dapat gawin?
May interagency kami with DNR on Friday.
Baka may
DNR is
So,
arriving.
ang akin lang naman po, they either declare it no build zone,
Yeah.
or, kasi nga, temporary and unstable lang. So, declare it a no build zone so that from there, let's work it out kung hanggang saan. Para we can instruct the business owners na umalis. It's a hard part. Kung yun talaga ang, kasi ang LGU naman, yung technical capability, hindi naman ako pwede magsabi no build zone. Ano ang study, ano ang meron technical side na pwedeng i-deklara na no build zone. Ang preferred ko, set the limits kung saan bang no build zone. So that from there, we can work it out. Ano ba ang panghahawakan kong batas para pag dineklara yung no build zone, maybe I can do that kasi meron ng authority ang mayor na to demolish, remove doon sa mga deklaradong danger zone. So, that will be my basis. Pero as of now, wala akong basis eh. So, masasubject lang tayo po sa legal issues. Kasi po, kahit na public lang naman, meron mong possessory right yung mga tao, yung liberty of abode, na kailangan daanin mo sa legal lahat. And actually, yung mga resort owners, when I talk to them personally, kasi ang ginawa ko, because of the problems na encounter namin, I made it sure na yung business permitting ng mga resort owners, I had to talk to. So, isa-isa ko silang kinakausap. Alam niyo ba na ito, ganyan-ganyan, danger ka dyan, anytime ang kunin ng gobyerno. Ano naman sila? Tanggap naman nila.
At their own
risk. Pag kinuha ng gobyerno, bahala kayo. Yun nga po sir Kaya sinasamantala na namin, baka mabawi na namin yung puhunan. So, ibig sabihin, yung decision na lang ng government, what to do with it. So, yun ho ang problem. Ang isa pa na worry ko, like yung sabi niyo, preparedness sa disaster, hopefully walang mangyari. Kasi the moment na may mangyari, like
Huwag naman sana, tsunami, lindol man, or storm surge man. Naku, I kept on warning yung mga residents, occupants na beware. Huwag tayong kampante. Di ba, lately may deklarasyon yung FIBOC sa tanong regarding sa Manila Trench. Ilocos, Pangasinan, La Union, Zambales, and all the way to Batangas. Merong fault line po, Manila Trench ang tawag, na recently lumindol doon sa sunod-sunod sa Ilocos, na it may happen to us, na kung anong magnitude yan. Kaya binibrief ko sila yung mga senyales ng posible tsunami. Kaya better be ready. At sa LDRIM naman, we're trying our best to provide logistics na inabutan ko, walang kagamit-gamit nung ako mayor. So, with the added income galing sa river restoration, so, ka-purchase na ako ng mga logistics, trucks, for LDRIM, kailangan po eh. Hindi makakagalaw ng munisipyo without anything. So, yun po yung mga issues regarding, kasi, ang nangyayari lang po, nami-misinterpret ng iba, yung mga barko, na minsan naka-anchor dito sa ating dagat, although akala nila nag-dredge sa riverside. And normally, ang ginagawa lang naman kasi ng mga barko natin is waiting for their term. Pag nakaalis na yung barko sa mouth of the river, lilipat na naman dito. So yun po. Yun po ang nangyari.
Mayor, parang ang laki-laki na resources yung lahar, yung saltation. Yung mga communities ba, like may mga economic activities ba, mga women, na kumikita sila from this?
Well, yung pagpapasyal po kayo sa may river restoration,
Pasyal nga tayo.
Sa may Santo Tomas, yung dinaanan po. Every time na umaalis yung vessel, nag-converge yung mga fishing boat na maliliit. Kasi nakikita nila na pumapasok na yung mga isda. Yeah, meron nga mana nag-fishing.
Pero ano mismo, yung hindi pa nila nagagamit yun for?
Tinatanong niya anong
souvenir.
gamit ng lahar eh. Ano bang gamit?
Parang yung community.
Sa ngayon wala eh, kasi wala naman kami nakikitang market. Kung may market sana that, kung may market or ano, we can, siyempre, no?
DUST tumulong.
Pottery. Dati nung bagong pinatulong.
Battery, bricks, yes, posible. Kaya lang, again, it boils down sa market, no? Kung mag-produce man kami dito, especially ang layo natin dun sa construction boom, cities, and so on. So, who will, again, economic symbol, mag-produce man kami na napakaraming bricks dito, sino bibili at sino magdadala sa Maynila. Eh, baka yung isang brick abutin na ng kung magkano. So again,
Sa Holy.
economics din.
May problema ka sa Holy.
Marketing ka talaga ang amin. Kung saan lang ang dami. Kaya nga po yung opportunity na meron reclamation para sa amin.
Yung opportunity nyo.
Opportunity namin. E pagkatapos na reclamation, wala na.
Baka maubos na yung dagat po, Mayor, reclaim. Okay.
Billions of cubic pa yun sa taas. Sabi nga ng DNR sa amin, not even in our lifetime, mauubos mo yung buhangin. So,
we have to learn to live with it.
So,
Thank you, Mayor.
take advantage of the tax na ibinibigay sa amin and i-channel mo lang sa development ng bayan.
Yes, yun ang
Disaster man, peace and order man, infrastructure man, social services man, doon na lang natin yan. Yung samantalahin na yung income na ibinibigay ng bayan.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Okay na po kayo.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Tsaka ito ba, baka ma-raise din yung issue. Kasi may, before, dalawa ang dredging natin, river restoration, yung Santo Tomas River tsaka Maloma River. Yung Maloma River, dyan may mga community na halos nakadikit doon sa river mouth. Yun yung medyo nagkaroon ng complaints at reklamo. So, na-suspend na yan at na-stop yung operation ng river restoration. So, doon pa lang makikita natin yung buhay at active yung interagency committee with regards to sa proper river restoration process. Kasi, inimbestigahan nila yan kung may violation itong contractor, may mga category, kung suspended lang because of certain violation, or stoppage because of suspension violation na talagang non-negotiable. So nahinto. Yun ho ang Then may isang road doon na nag-collapse, about 500 meters yun na malapit doon. So ito yung issue, no? Binabanggit nila because of the river restoration. Pero actually, ang opinion ko, there are possibilities. One is it the right design for a breakwater? Or is it designed just a road? Yun ang question number one. Pangalawa, is it right yung location na pinaglagyan ng coastal road? Kasi if you talk to the old people, ang shoreline is 50 to 100 meters inward pa. So how come napunta doon? So nung tinayo itong coastal road, saan naman nagtagsaan itong settlers na dumikit doon sa coastal road as if naging parang protection nila ng coastal. So yun yung mga possible. Is it right design as breakwater? Is it in the right location? Or is it because of the river restoration? Or during that time kasi yung Karina andyan dyan. I was there nung yung bagyo at may report na may damaged part. Nung tumayo po ako doon, parating yung alon 3 times my height. Nasa ibabaw na ako ng coastal road. So, who knows? Who will tell? So, kung meron man mga issues na tinutukol sa river restoration, let the forensic engineering do that. Pero, pag-aralan man natin o hindi, it's already damaged. So, on my part, what will I do? So, again, sabi ko doon sa mga resort owners na dumikit doon, which are illegally occupying, again, the Christian public land, dahil wala pong option natin. Either remove totally all the broken structures and let the sea return to its original state. That means sacrifice nyo na yung inyong, or wait for the national government to restore it. Pero I don't think kasi that will cost about 400, 500 million again. Wow. So which is which? Not for me to decide. That will be behind my...
Nature-based solution.
Kaya nga, so let it return to its result. Pero that again, kailangan mag-agree na itong mga occupants that settled there na natayo ng mga resort. Give up.
Well, nature will make them give it up anyway. Eventually.
I think, for me, ang tatanungin doon, let the nature return to original state.
Original state.
Actually, opinion ko lang po ito. Yung construction ng coastal road, actually dapat para sa akin, I would not have endorsed or recommended it. That's not in my term. Kasi nasira yung coastal, naging protection lang ng mga settlers. Ito yung coastal road, dumikit na tayo dyan. So again, yung stability ng land is there because of vision.
Yeah.
So sa part namin, wala na akong doon. It's in the national government. So I hope na bigyan ko kayo ng much information.
Very
so,
much.
Sige po. Yes po. Teka mo na.
Thank you.
Attorney Chiclet, come here. Ito po, pakilala ko po si Attorney Chiclet. Siya po ang legal consultant ng ating probinsya. So, so any na gusto niyong questions about you can address it to him. Oh, ano bang plano niyo? Gusto niyo samahan ko kayo sa site or what?
Yes, if we still have time.
Yeah, okay lang ma'am.
Tingnan namin.
We are not keeping your time.
No, it's okay. Nagpaalam na ako kay gabi. Through Attorney Chiclet.
May one last comment lang ako.
Sige po.
Ako po si Larry Santos mula sa Region 4A.
Yes po.
Nais ko muna kayong pangayan.
Iba ka talaga.
Sige po.
Hanging isda po ako sa aking natural na kalagayan. Kung ano man po ang kalagayan ko ngayon, nag-transform lang ako kagabi. Issue po kasi ngayon, ma'am, yung declaration ng Supreme Court na ang 15 kilometers municipal water is unconstitutional. So it will boil down to the mayor, the local chief executive, na may pangisdaan. At sinasabi mo sa akin, sa amin, kanina nung magsimula ka, na pinupush ng munisipyo na iayos yung vessels ng mga mangingisda para makapangisda sila sa malayo. Una, dahil sinabi mo yung accretion. Sabing mga Tagalog, ang tawag namin dyan, anak ng lupa. So, unstable talaga yan eh. Paano kung gumuho yan? Tama yung sinabi mo. Kasi hindi naman sila nagbabayad ng business permit. Pero pag may nagkasakit doon, yung ambulansya mo tumatakbo doon, sinasaklulungan. Yung mga ganong issue sa mayor. Una yun nga, ano yung kahandaan na ng munisipyo, particularly yung at lalo na dito sa pagtulong pa, kasi under Fisheries Code, isa po kasi ako sa naglabi ng Fisheries Code, merong provision doon yung Afro-Fish Tech Fund o yung Vessels Development Fund. So you can, siguro, Director Willie is a very good director ng BIPAR. Maybe the municipio can ask BIPAR 3 on how the fisher folk can, or the municipio and the provincial government can access the Vessel Development Fund. Kasi nga, with this problem with the accretion, with the problem of the 15 kilometers, unconstitutional daw, sabi ng Supreme Court. Pangatlo, para naman din makapangisda ng mas maaayos at mahuhusay na isda, yung mga manging isda dito sa iyong bayan. So yun po. Isang pantanong ko, parang napansin ko, mahusay ka na sa conflict resolutions. Itong mga issue na to, no? So bilang expert sa conflict resolutions, ano ba ang mas madaling iayos? Let's say, halimbawa, isang terorista na may granada or whatever na gagawin, or conflict resolutions with your wife.
Magalit si Mama.
Para na po.
Okay, thank you very much. Regarding to sa 15 kilometer, maybe Attorney Chiclet can share.
Hello po, good morning. Yung question is, what will happen to those fisher folks within the 15-kilometer
Papasukin na siya ng commercial eh, based doon sa desisyon ng Supreme Court kasi unconstitutional daw. So those
unconstitutional ang pag-stay nila doon.
Unconstitutional yung declaration. Kasi yung municipal waters is exclusive for artisanal and small fisher folk. So it's their right na mangisda doon and all of that, tulad na nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Eh ngayon, because of the declaration of the Supreme Court, papasok yung commercial na mangingisda sa municipal.
But hindi naman po sinabi ng Supreme Court na only those commercial can wala. So there is nothing, kung ayaw naman po ng munisipyo na tanggalin sila doon, there is nothing that the Supreme Court rin can do. Hindi naman pinagbabawal, hindi naman sinabi ng Supreme Court, bawal yung mga small vessels dyan, yung mga small time fisher folks. Wala naman pong sinabi sa ganun na ruling. Sinabi na hindi na exclusive to them. Sinabi na pwede na rin yung iba, but it doesn't mean na hindi na sila po pwede. Di ba, when you interpret the law, it has to be always for the benefit of the less fortunate. Always, always. The Supreme Court will kahit na may batas na ganito, this is the law. Pero pag sinabi ng Supreme Court, for humanitarian reasons, di wala na rin naman yung batas na yun. So always like that. In the probinsya naman po, we are not unaware of the, na yan yung kinabubuhay ng marami sa aming kababayan. That's why the governor po of the province, si Governor Evdane, meron po kaming tinayo na executive order na group po for the maritime, for the assistance of the fisher folks. Meron po kaming budget for that, I think 100 plus million, na mag-modernize, hopefully, ng mga vessels namin para makalaban naman kami sa China dyan. So meron po kami ganun, we're on it po. Yes, we're on it po.
Small fisher folk to organize themselves into cooperatives.
Yes, meron po yun on the municipal level. Meron din po kami on the provincial level. Meron po kaming Zambales Maritime Development Council. So, meron po. Yeah, na binuo po ni Governor Evdane. Aware po kami. Yes, iba po yung sa municipal local government yun. Yes. Yes. Makakautang na sila sa amin. Makakautang na to get their own.
Magandang mai-model yung karanasan nyo dito sa ibang municipality.
Kasi
the provincial
kami ata yung may case na mahaba yung accretion.
in the site.
Ano niya, 20 pesos, diba? Yun ang nahanap ng nasa.
Attorney.
Kukulang na lang sa akin ni Hindi Mayor yung conflict resolution mo. Ano yan?